Hello and welcome to beautiful Pickett, Wisconsin for yet another engine run and another swamp juice testing video. Today is just a spectacular day. It's May 14th, 2026. It's a Thursday and it's spectacular. It's 60 degrees, light breeze, almost a cloudless sky, just absolutely picture perfect for doing more engine runs and testing this swamp juice fuel that Garrett, the creator of it, has provided for me. So today's run is going to be a little bit different than what you have seen with the previous runs of this engine. One of the runs I did, I believe it was with the HP 61, I did a brief little run with swamp juice using an OS A3 or number 6 plug. I didn't think much of it. I don't even hardly remember doing it. But Garrett saw that and he got very intrigued by that. And so he has asked me to change up the parameters of at least the testing for this engine for today. And after today's results, we may be doing more changes. So I've got the latest version of Swamp Juice 2 here, which now Garrett has created, or one of his friends has created a beautiful label which I have printed out and attached to this bottle, and I'll show you an image of it right here. And we're going to be using this. So what Garrett asked me to do was he wants me to reduce the size of the prop that I was running, which I have done. So today we're running, this is a Magnum 108 engine. For those of you that may be just tuning in for the first time. Today I've got a Master Airscrew 13.6. He's suggested that I run props on the smaller side. And I've got Swamp Juice 2, but instead of running the OSG 5 plug, I'm going to be exclusively running the A3 plug that I've got installed in here. Now this is a used plug. I've got a new one if necessary. But Garrett saw something in that short little brief run that piqued his interest, and he wants to see if I can go ahead and see if I can get this engine to run with an A3 plug, because that would just be spectacular. So I think what I'm going to do before I start this up is I'm going to open the low speed mixture probably a half to maybe a full turn, because Garrett also said richen the low speed up and see if it idles better and what the transition's like. So those are the parameters for today's test. Now I've got a towel over here covering up the other engine. There's something about this particular engine, and the exhaust is tight as hell. But the last time I ran this thing, it basically destroyed a shirt or a coat, whatever I was wearing, because there's just spatterings of black oil coming out and it just got all over me. So I got my sleeves up, I've got a really crappy shirt on, I've got my other engine stand here and engine protected hopefully from that. So enough of that, let's get on with the runs. Okay, so in the past runs with this engine, I've always thrown some fuel right underneath the plug. Today, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to see if I can just really prime it a lot and get this thing to fire up. And the one thing I did not do that I said I was going to do, which is open up this low speed. So I'm going to go a half a turn. I'm going to open it a half a turn and see what happens there. So let's fire this baby up and see if she will fire up like this. Let's see over there. for about 3,500 RPM. Now we're going to try for 3,000 and see how well it likes 3,000. I didn't mean to do that. I was just going to lean this just a hair, but Garrett says this fuel likes to be run rich, and I am super impressed with what I'm seeing right now. I'll talk more about it at the end. I guess I need to have this on there. I don't expect it to light itself. about 3,500 RPM. Okay, so in my opinion, that was a spectacular run. Now, keep in mind, and I know that a lot of you don't understand this and you think I'm just doing engine runs, but I'm not just doing engine runs. In fact, 90% of these runs that I'm putting on video, I am making them public, but 90% of it is really for Garrett. He's the one that is the creator of this fuel. He's the one that's assisting me in what prop to use and all those things, all the testing parameters. I'm basically just doing all the testing, or a lot of the testing. He does testing also, but I'm doing a lot of the testing. And so a lot of the videos, and that's why, I don't know if you saw if I got in the way of the one camera or not, I was using my cell phone to take some quick videos to give Garrett some real-time feedback on this while I'm here, so that maybe he can suggest some other things to change or try also, as opposed to waiting for me to get this video compiled and edited and uploaded, which could be a day or two. So, as I said, Garrett is the creator of this fuel. This is the second version. All of these videos are in a playlist called Swamp Juice, a Fuel Alternative. In all previous videos, we had been using the OS G5 plug. Today, this entire video was shot with an OS A3 plug, which is less expensive and more readily, I don't know if it's more readily available or not, but it's less expensive. How well it holds up, I don't know, but I think what I'm going to do is probably maybe put a little bit more swamp juice in here in this tank and do another run. I don't know if that's going to be a separate video or if I'm just going to tag it on this. I did see, even though this exhaust is tight, I'm just going to have to get a gasket, make a gasket or something to put on there, because that's where it's leaking. It's coming out right there. But this thing was actually, it runs really well on this fuel. Now you can't, and that's one of the other things that a lot of people don't understand, is that this fuel is different. It's not your standard glow fuel. It's hopefully the idea, the theory or concept behind it is to make it way less expensive than glow fuel and give you way more fuel economy with comparable performance to glow fuel. Now, Garrett would just be giddy as all hell if further A3 testing works out better than the G5 plug, because the G5 plug is more expensive. So the whole concept behind this fuel is fuel economy, more fun for your money, and no compromise when it comes to power output. Now, that means that some things may change from what you are normally done, which I'm learning also from running standard, methanol, nitromethane fuels, is that maybe you go to a smaller prop. Maybe you richen your low speed up some. Maybe you always use an A3 plug, and I'm sure we're going to test some other plugs too. Those are some of the things, when you swap to this fuel, you may just have to change a few of the things that you normally do. There'll be a slightly different learning curve, but hey, I'm still all on board with this. I'm really happy with what I've seen, and granted, this is a Magnum 108. Eventually we'll probably transition to some smaller engines and do some of these other things, but we'll just wait and see what happens throughout the season here. But right now, I'm very, very encouraged. And I'm sure Garrett is very encouraged with the video I sent to him showing him how well an A3 plug runs, because he was never able to get other earlier iterations of Swamp Juice to run at all on an A3 plug. So, Garrett, I hope you're happy. I know I'm happy, and it's such a beautiful day. I can't just not do more engine runs. So I'm probably going to fire this thing up again, give it a chance to cool completely, and see if the starting parameters and everything are the same. And I don't know that there's any parameters I can change other than just run it some more.